A 43-24 win against WashU gives the Cardinals a 4-0 record. Head coach Jeff Thorne is on the show to talk about the win. Tyrone Suggs and Emonte Logan are also on. We have a fun discussion for the quick hits. We have all that and more next on the Red Zone.
Presenting sponsor of the Red Zone is Athletico, the preferred provider of physical therapy and athletic training for North Central College.
Welcome into the Red Zone, and head coach of the football team, Jeff Thorne, is here after a 43-24 win over Washington University. Long bus ride, and this is probably the longest one you'll have this season until maybe the playoffs. But your team responded pretty well after going down 10-0. Were you pretty happy with the response?
Yeah, you know, it was fun to see our guys respond. First time we've been down like that this season, and to start slow the way we did, but then make some adjustments, settle in, and play really good football, particularly the second and third quarter, was very, very good to see. Talking
to Brad Spencer, he said, I'll take that second quarter if we could have that every quarter of every game of every season. Impressive stuff. I mean, offensively, you guys stepped up and capitalized on everything, and defensively, you shut them down. Let's start on the offensive side. You have to have young receivers step up, and in this game, they really did. They really showed what they have potential-wise.
Yeah, I mean, all of them. We had Jake Beasley make some great plays. Josh Ruiz again with a touchdown and a couple other catches. Jalen Dennis and Kaminsky again, you know, 4 weeks in a row now has made plays, and he didn't even have his best game. He had a couple drops that's very uncharacteristic, but after the second drop, he comes back the next play and makes just an outstanding catch on a great throw by Brock. So those guys are maturing quickly. Very, very happy with how they're performing and handling varsity football right away as freshmen.
And I want to kind of piggyback off of that. What is the learning curve for a wide receiver when they come into a program like this? How much do they have to learn?
In our offense, outside of quarterback, it is the hardest. So what these guys are doing is extremely unique. It's extremely difficult, and the learning curve is huge. A lot of them were studying film and you know, working out 7-on-7s that our captains put together all summer long. So they were a part of it. Those that were local and those that weren't, that had to travel, still came and were a part of it. It was that important to them to try to learn this thing.
Wow. And Brock, I'm guessing, is a major facilitator in making sure that they're ready.
He's the ringleader. Yeah, he gets them all set, and he does a great job of creating relationships with those kids and helping them learn the system.
Now it starts up front, and Brock has to have the protection to be able to get the football out. And so far this season, it looks like that offensive line has really come together well. I want to talk about the captain of that unit, and that's Joe Fairley. Preseason All-American. This guy is known to be just a monster on the line. What makes him so good? What does he do that makes him so good?
He's athletic. He's got really good feet and hips, so he can bend, and that's a really big part of being an effective offensive lineman. If you can't bend, it's hard to play with pad level, and Joe can do that. And he has steadily improved this year, week to week to week. So he's getting better, which is really pretty exciting.
Kind of scary to think about. And then Colton Bachneck, because you can have a strong left side, but if you have one missing piece on that line, it's going to be kind of leaky. But the right side is just as strong. Colton Bachneck looks pretty good as a sophomore.
Yeah, he's doing a great job over there. Was a swimmer in high school, so
really,
was 6'4" and 215 pounds, lean and long, and he's really added a lot of weight and muscle. But there's athleticism there again, and that's really critical. So he's doing a great job. Really, really happy with how he's played through 4 games.
From one year to the next, especially freshman year to sophomore year, I'm guessing you see a big leap, especially in linemen. What does that leap take to? What do you have to do to make that leap?
Well, a lot of it is just the maturation process. Mother Nature, you're at that age where Mother Nature says, okay, it's time for you to put some weight on and get stronger. Provided the guys are really dedicated to the weight room and eating the right things, you can see massive growth from that freshman to sophomore year.
And then to the defensive side, defensive linemen seem to be making steady improvements every week as well. Another 2 sacks for Josh Leonhard this week. It looks like he's been improving, and he was already really good last year. Where's the ceiling for this guy? Is there one?
No, I don't think so. He really is. He's explosive. He's fast. Again, another guy with great hips and explosive, fast twitch muscle fibers. So I expect the same kind of things out of Josh as the season progresses. There's certainly things that he can continue to get better at, but you can't teach the explosiveness that he has.
Let's go to the back half of the defense. 3 interceptions in the game. Pat Cravens had one. Zach Greenberg had another in crunch time. It seems like, again, I feel like a broken record already, but improvement in the back half.
It's what you look for. You know, they were young. Our corners were young, sophomore guys. Pat's not, obviously, and neither is Justin, but Justin's playing a new position. So converted linebacker back to safety, there's a learning curve there. And you're seeing Pat make the kind of plays that we really expect Pat to make. Again, as I've mentioned time and again, just a terrific athlete.
Now I want to break down the tape, but we're going to take a break first. Check the Tape is on the way. We'll be right back on the Red Zone. Welcome back, and now it's time to check the tape.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by M&M Rentals.
First play I want to get to is the Emonte Logan strip sack. And on this particular play, what exactly do you see from Emonte?
Well, he gets up the field in his pass rush, makes a nice move past the guard. Running back steps up in protection. He takes on that collision and then works off to the quarterback and is able to get a piece of the ball with his left arm there. It's a great play. It's our forced fumble, something we need to see more of, but that's great to see. And then Tommy's rallying to the football and we get a sack out of it.
I think Emonte gets credited with the sack because he knocked the ball loose.
You know what? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe, perhaps.
We'll ask him when he hops on. Yeah. Second play, and this is really cool because I want your quarterback's perspective on this. This window is tight. You know you have to make this throw in the right time, but what is a quarterback is going through your mind when you have a route like this near the goal line?
Well, you know you got to get it out quick. Because like you said, you've got a tight window. But if you've got the matchup you want, you know the protection you're in and how that may manipulate the defense, you've got factors in your favor, and that's the processing that has to happen at quarterback really, really quickly. So you have to have a level of intelligence and an ability to watch film and see how that's playing itself out on the field in a game.
And it helps that Brock has, one, a strong arm, and the other one thing is he put it right on the number.
Yep, and our receiver did a great job of winning the route and putting himself in a position where Brock could do that.
Now, let's go to the third play. Billy Dowds, never-ending motor, always coming around the edge and able to come up with a sack right here.
Yeah, it's Billy doing what he's done for a couple of years now, and when Billy's playing with that motor and using his hands, he's really, really hard to deal with, and that's a great example of it, and he gets to the quarterback frequently. Looking for more of that from him as the season continues to progress.
Now I want to ask you about tackling technique, because right there he looked like he wrapped around the hips and rolled. Is that the kind of technique that you guys are?
Just depends on where the ball carrier is in relation to where you are and where your pursuit's coming from. There's all sorts of different kinds of tackles that you have to make in the course of a football game, and it's all dependent upon, is the runner running at me? Is he at an angle? Am I coming from the back or the side? On kickoff, it's a completely different teaching progression to try to take their head out of contact. So there's a lot of things that go into the teaching of how to tackle and do it safely.
I love watching DJ Workenthien in particular. It looks like he always just spin cycles a guy to the ground. I don't know if that's his wrestling background or if he just grew up doing that.
Yeah, well, he's really explosive too, and he, you know, as he accelerates into the tackle, he rolls and pops up, and he's not very tall, so it's easy for him to pop up quickly.
Let's get to the scouting report. We have North Park coming up next at home. I'm sure you're happy to get back home. But what do the Vikings bring to the table?
They have arguably the best linebacker in the conference in Sean Maeva, number 40 for them. He's been starting for them now for this, I think, is his 4th year.
Wow.
Great player. Running back is an excellent player. So they're gonna present challenges to us like any team does. Defensively, they've been playing very well this year. They've been in every game. In fact, I think they've led in the second half of every game they've played.
Wow.
So it's an improved team. The record is not indicative of the type of team that they are.
Now, it's time for your quick hit. We have 3 for them. We have 1 for you as well. Right. Long bus ride this past week. 5 hours, I think, to and from Washington each way. What exactly do you do to the game and then coming back home?
Well, the first thing we do is we look at the stat sheet and just kind of see how the game went and do as much work as we can on the bus ride home so that when I get home I can actually go see my family and not feel like I need to get work done. So watch film. Maybe I pop my headphones in and listen to some Christian music, but that's probably about it.
And then maybe some film on your son at Naperville Central?
This week, yeah, because I didn't get to see his game. So they were gracious enough to get that film up quickly, and I was able to watch his game against St. Edward, so that was a lot of fun too.
We're looking forward to the Naperville North, Naperville Central matchup on Friday. I know you are too. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's our first experience with the Crosstown Classic, so very excited. Yeah.
Well, good luck against North Park and good luck to Peyton as well.
Thanks,
on the football field. Coming up next, we'll have a couple players joining me on set. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
What if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps kids go to college. Believe in us, invest in us, watch us grow.
My name is Sydney, and I'm your dividend.
It's time for this week's Play of the Game. Call him the goal line back, call him the bruiser. But Dom Mugalu is a running back. Here he is battling to score from 13 yards out to cap another 3-touchdown day, his second in as many weeks. Now up to 8 touchdowns on the season, Mugalu is on pace for quite the year, and also the Red Zone's Play of the Game.
Welcome back to the Red Zone, and a couple of defensive linemen joining me, Emonte, Logan, Tyrone Suggs. And a big win down at Washington, made even bigger by the fact that you had to go down 5 hours. And, it's a long road trip, one of the longer ones you'll have this season. But you were down 10-0 early. Really happy to see the fact that you guys made that adjustment and came back out firing in the second quarter.
Yes. Yo, it was great. It was a turning point where on the sideline, Matt Taylor, we all know him, call him Matty Ice, but he, on the sideline, he just right away, like, we need to go back to playing Cardinal defense. And I guess that was the eye-opener. And after that, the series after, it was 3 sacks in a row. And, I mean, that was fun. And that's what we used to, as Cardinal defense, just having fun out there and flying around. So by him starting it off with a sack and me and Tommy finishing off, it was a great feeling. So.
Kind of the response that's probably the perfect response, right?
Yeah.
Nothing gets you guys fired up more than a sack.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
That's true. Yes. Fumble, forced fumble, interception, every type of turnover gets us excited for it and give us another opportunity to get our offense out there. So we were pretty pumped up after that. So.
Tyrone, it seems like, especially your unit, the defensive line unit, has gotten better every single week. What has it been? Has it just been going back to the tape and correcting little mistakes?
Right. I mean, when you're part of this program, even when you win games, you know deep down inside that there's something that you got to fix. Sundays after a good Saturday victory, Sundays are, let's come to church type of meeting. We got to be honest with ourselves, but, we embrace that. You have to have thick skin. People are going to tell you how it is, but as a player, that's what you want. That's what you need to hear. If you have people just telling you, oh, good job, guys, you guys are winning, we're 4th in the nation, people get satisfied with that, but not us. We're always looking to get better every day and, resharpening our tools. So it's really grateful. It's grateful to be a part of.
Hey, and it's showing. 5 sacks against the Bears, which is a season high.
Yeah.
And I saw you immediatly, a big smile on your face. That's what you guys want to do as a defensive line. You want to stop the run. You want to get to the quarterback.
Yes.
And you have the personnel to do it. It's pretty impressive group, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm going to say this on behalf of the D tackles. When the D tackle gets a sack, we all got to celebrate, because when you're in those trenches, you might have 2 guys, 3 guys on you to finally get through, because, you know, DNs are like the quarterbacks of the D line. They get all the flash and they get to go around the corner, but D tackles, we are in the middle of all the action. So when a D tackle gets a sack, it's an awesome feeling.
And this guy's one of the better ones in the conference. Forced fumble. We talked about that sequence. You poked your hand in there as well. We broke that down in the tape. You guys, you want more of that, don't you?
Coach always like put emphasis on like forced fumbles and interceptions and turnovers in general. So, I mean, I was just doing what I was trained to do, I guess.
Motor is something we always hear with the defensive line. I'll go to Tyrone on this one. It's one thing to say to play with a high motor, but when you're in the middle of a game, when you're in the middle of a play and you've already, you know, you're working on the same guy over and over again, how hard is it to keep your motor running high?
You know, that just goes back to just falling back on your training. Coach Janis said, hey, do what you got to do. You know, make a mental checklist on what you need to do when you're tired. Chew on your mouthpiece harder if you need to. You know, it's all about just bowing your neck and doing your job, and just when you get tired, you just got to fall back on your training. That's what it comes down to. That's our philosophy.
And one of the things that helps you guys, I know, is the depth, because you guys can rotate in, and you don't lose a lot of talent when some of the guys that are 2 or 3 spots down on the depth chart come in. How impressed are you when you have to come off the field and you look back on and somebody else is getting a sack?
I mean, it's a relief that I can trust my brother, my teammate, that when I get off the field, when Tyrone get off the field, we got somebody of the same caliber, giving the same effort and same intensity that we work on every day. So, I mean, Cray, Matt Taylor, Josh, Taha, and all these guys, and Ben Wiley, Drew Hayes, these guys literally, they bring the intensity every day in practice, and it shows on the game day. And we basically don't have to look back, because we know that we're prepared for any situation, because we work so hard during the week. So, I mean, it's kind of a relief, because we do get a break, or we do have that depth that we can just toss those guys out there and they'll be the same type of rep. So it's definitely helpful, I'll tell you that.
Now I'm curious, Tyrone, what are you doing well when you're playing well? What kind of things, because you mentioned a checklist earlier. Right. What is on that checklist that you go, if I'm doing this, this, and this, I'm going to be playing well?
Well, for me, personally, it all starts with pad level. You can't play in the trenches when you're high. And, you know, sometimes when you get tired or fatigued, that can be an issue. So that mental checklist really does come in handy. So pad level, getting off the ball, explosiveness, but also just using your hands. I know Coach mentioned it earlier with Billy Dowds. You know, any D lineman, when they use their hands and when they get hands-on, then it's going to be a problem to deal with. So those are the type of things that you want to really focus on, and also just keep on moving your feet. So those are the type of things when you know when you're playing well, when you can move bodies, when you're able to do all these things. So
echoing the same thing?
Yep. Only thing I add with there is like your lineman, who I know Coach Janis do touch on a lot, like a line for success. And most of the time, if we line too close or too tight, we may say, or too loose on an O-lineman, then he got the upper advantage of us. So right before the snap, just align yourself up for success, basically. And
it's all a chess match, isn't it?
It's literally a chess match. And just key reaction, you notice that we got a door frame, and you just focus on that key, and he's going to take us to the promised land. So.
Coach Janicek's a pretty vocal dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Who
pretty,
told you?
Nobody had to tell me. You can hear it from on top of the press box. No, but hey, you know, he seems to kind of carry out that attitude of the defense.
Yes.
You know, really aggressive, focused, and intense.
Yeah.
Do you guys draw on that, you know, both in practice and in games?
Oh, his energy is contagious. I mean, before every game, he just get us hyped, and he's hyped just as hyped as us. So, I mean, his energy, his intent and intensity is so contagious that, I mean, I feel like sometimes he want to strap up and go out there with us. But, I mean, it's always good to have a coach like that, only because, like, we want to be that intense, or we need that extra body to get us that intense. And he literally takes the job every week. And, I mean, I thank him a lot for, like, getting us up for it every day, every week, every weekend. So. He's the man.
He is the man.
Now, you guys go up against the offensive line every day, and especially back in training camp, I'm sure scrimmage-wise you saw a lot of them. What makes them good? What makes them really good?
Oh, my goodness. The offensive line this year has done just an awesome job. Going against them, we went against them yesterday, and it made us better. In the locker room, we were like, man, we need to do this every day, because they really do get us prepared. Just the way they're coached, the way they just take care of their assignments. I mean, it's amazing. You know, they play really aggressive, and, you know, as a defensive line when you're preparing for an opponent. That's the type of look that you would want and need in order to play how you want to play on Saturday. So they just really do a really good job of just working together. The chemistry's there, and it's showing on game day.
Yep. Now, before I get to the quick hits, I got to ask you. You had your first taste of being a Cardinal correspondent. How'd you feel about your first reporting duties?
It is fun. Is this what you guys do?
Yeah.
This is sign me up. This is amazing. You know, I don't know, man. It was a good time. I had fun. I'm sure Emonte had fun with his romantic films. But no, it was a really cool experience, man, and something that I honestly remember for the rest of my life. That was awesome. You
did a phenomenal job. We showed this. I mean, obviously it goes on the internet, but everybody we talked to it was hilarious.
I appreciate it.
So well done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You ready for the quick hits?
Yeah.
I prepped you guys because some of these are thinkers.
Yeah.
We'll start with Emonte for this one. I want you to build your signature sandwich.
Oh. All right. Well, first and foremost, I know I need to start with bacon. I don't care what type of bread. Probably wheat bread, chicken, any type of chicken breast. Or I'm a ham guy. You gotta have some cheese on there, lettuce, tomatoes, mayo. I'm a big mayo guy. Not too much though. It's kind of creepy.
What about mayo is creepy?
I don't know. Too much of it is kind of extreme, you know? You can't have too much mayo. You gotta complement it with the mustard, but.
Oh, there's mustard on it too.
Oh, I didn't say mustard.
Yeah, man.
You know, I like a little mustard.
Is this a sub or a sandwich?
Oh, I'll do a sub.
Sub? Okay. All right.
Sandwich, I don't know. Sandwich get too messy.
That's true.
A sub, yeah, I'm a potbelly guy, so I'm kind of basing off potbellies, but. I mean, that's kind of it. Yeah, I'm a simple guy. Just know I need my bacon on there.
There you go.
That's it.
Bacon on yours?
No, I don't do that.
I guess not.
Much more complex guy. First of all, bread is important. We're gonna go wheat, whole grain.
Yeah,
Gotta watch the figure.
Okay.
Mayonnaise, gotta have some mayonnaise. I don't discriminate. A lot, a little, doesn't matter.
Too much, all right.
But here's the thing though, avocados.
No,
protein packed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I like
that's
that.
really
You
good
know
for your
what?
skin too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm huge on that. And then for
I
meat,
second that.
we gotta it's a combo. You gotta have half turkey, half ham.
Okay.
So you know you don't know what's gonna hit you when you take the bite.
that's a little funky
It is,
right there.
yeah.
I like
So
that.
yeah, that's how we roll. And some hot peppers.
Hot peppers.
I'm a spicy guy.
Oh,
nice.
And I might put some hot sauce on it too with the hot peppers. So that's how we roll.
Coach
out here.
Janicek would approve, I heard.
He would love it. He's eating it right now. He loves it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know if we can top that one. We still have two more. Tyrone, we'll go to you for this one first. Favorite place that you've never been?
All right, so my best friend back home, his father's from Boston, and he always has these cool stories. So I'm like, I need to go because he talks in this accent that I love. It's lobster and Kai and the Boston Red Sox. I want to feel this. That's my type of. I like that. And you know, I want to go visit the Green Monster.
Yeah.
You know, those are the type of things I want to be a part of that. So I need to go down to the East Coast and hang out with Tom Brady, wear some UGG boots. It's gonna be a good time.
I can't believe you said that. So we're preparing for the segment, and I explained the question to somebody. Like, for instance, I want to go to Boston. I love Boston.
This is
I've never
why this
been.
works.
So there we go. You are already a reporter. You just think like a reporter. There you
love
go.
you.
There you go.
Emonte, how about you?
I love to go to Hollywood. Go
Yeah?
there, see the stars, and I heard the Hollywood Strip is pretty fun. I see a lot of dancing. I'm a good dancer.
can't
out there.
dance.
Are you really?
Come on,
Oh,
dog.
come on,
I can get down on the floor. But
We heard Tyrone. Somebody said Tyrone's the team's
we have
best
daily
dancer.
competitions. Like we just throw it out there. Like let's go. You know. So
You should get a
I mean,
camera
I-
out for one of these.
Hey,
I don't want to embarrass. His mom's watching this. I don't want to embarrass
love
him.
moms.
So.
I don't want to embarrass T. It's all good.
Okay,
dog.
yeah, I just said that. Okay.
Third question for you guys, and this is a real thinker.
Okay.
You have 3 wishes from a genie. You've already used 2.
Okay.
What's the third one?
It could be anything.
Anything.
Anything. Man, like I don't know, a lifetime supply of flying somewhere. I would love to travel, just anywhere. So I guess just travel anywhere I want.
Nice.
For like a year or 2 years or something, so I can just see the
You know,
world.
it's like a wish. So you can do it for like the rest of your life if that's what you wish.
Yeah, for the rest of my life.
It's a genie.
Yeah, every week. I mean, when I'm not doing that, I like staying busy. So when I'm not doing nothing, I love to just travel.
Nice.
Just go out and do stuff. So.
Tyrone, how about you?
Man, if I had a third wish,
I'm waiting for a very philosophical answer on this.
I'm waiting too. I know you got one.
I just want to see the dinosaurs. I need to go back in time. Like,
that's yeah.
Like for real, like seriously, I want those things are huge. I wonder.
But you might need another wish to bring you back.
No, I'm gonna stay there.
You're just gonna stay there.
They're gonna accept me into their clique, and we're gonna roam the world. Honestly, dinosaurs. Those things are awesome.
Guys, this was fun. Good luck against North Park, and thanks for stopping by.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Coming up next, we'll go to the Cardinal Corner. We'll be right back on the Red Zone.
This Red Zone segment is sponsored by Belgio's Catering.
The football field. Whistles echoing, pads crunching, music blasting, and of course, coaches coaching. We wanted to hear what phrases North Central's assistant coaches are using to motivate, so we asked on this week's Cardinal Corner.
Wander and conquer. The D-line practices in one corner of the field, and whenever special teams happens, we have to get off our corner, and then we have to travel around the field all day for practice. So I just tell our guys we wander and conquer, and it's kind of carried over into everything we do, whether we're going to eat in the cafeteria, go to the weight room, find a spot in the locker room, find a meeting room. That's what we always do. Take a lap.
Because sometimes, you know, the boys aren't putting in the effort that's necessary to win a championship, so nothing wakes you up like taking a lap.
Well, I think before every game and then also on the field, repeated a lot, is play fast, play physical, and have fun. Hopefully, if they're playing fast, that means they're locked into what the game plan is, they're confident in their responsibilities. Play physical, I think they're executing those responsibilities at a high level. And to play defense, you got to have passion, and so if you're not having fun out there, it's hard to bring the energy and the enthusiasm to really play at a high level. So play fast, play physical, and have fun.
According to my players, the go-to is this. Really, guys? I keep it pretty clean. And I think that's just a way for me to express that I'm upset or disappointed without hollering or swearing. They usually stand and stare, put their head down, and then run and do what they need to do.
Sports Information Director Clark Tusher is here, and welcome back to the Red Zone. Clark, a lot to get to, and let's get to men's soccer because huge win. They're now 2-0 in conference, and I can imagine the confidence is just sky high right now.
Yeah, you know, speaking with Coach Klosterman before the game, they'd had about a week straight of really good practice, and it was just a matter of transferring that to a game atmosphere. You know, they came off a game on Saturday on the road at Carthage. Carthage is a perennial, contender to go to the postseason. Wound up with a 1-0 double overtime victory. I think they've played 6 overtime periods already this season, which they would prefer not to have to do, but didn't have to worry about it on Tuesday. Hosted Elmhurst, which is a really big rival for the programs in men's soccer specifically, and wound up with a 3-0 victory, which is good for a couple of reasons. One, we scored more than one goal, which has been an issue lately, but to be up 2-0 in the conference. Really, they've set themselves up to really, make a run at, possibly, the first conference championship in a while for that program.
It's pretty impressive. It also, I think, is their first win by more than a goal, and that kind of a factor of being in so many overtime periods as well. But when they look ahead to the rest of the schedule, there's one ranked team, and that's North Park. but are they confident they can go through and knock off some of the other conference schools?
North Park is a team that they've played fairly well against, so I think they're feeling pretty confident about the rest of that slate of games. I think the fact that they got started off so well on the road at a place like Carthage, which is a difficult place to play, really has them feeling like they've got a chance to really do something special this season. And
then basically the similar sentiments for the women's soccer team as well.
Went to Carthage just like the men did on Saturday. Wound up winning 4-3. They were up 4-1. We've seen this happen before. Depth is a bit of an issue for them. So when the starters come off the field, they run into some issues. So they're still trying to figure out a solution to that, whether it's a different rotation or whatever the things they have to do to adjust to that. But certainly in terms of their style of play and having it translate into putting the ball in the net, it certainly worked very well. So there's still some things to iron out, but definitely sitting pretty heading into their game on Wednesday against Elmhurst.
And then how about the men's cross country team? They didn't just win; they did it in perfect style, literally perfect style.
Yeah, 15 points, top 5 finishers overall. By a pretty wide margin. They were out in front, and they sat a couple of guys that are in their top group of 10 or so, and it doesn't ever seem to matter. Somebody always steps up. Dhruval Patel is runner of the week from the CCIW for the second time. Won it going away as an individual. So really, for that coaching staff, you're just trying not to mess up at this point. They're just you're trying to keep guys healthy, and they're being a little overly cautious on that right now. Still with a month or so before the conference championships, so that'll be the meet where they really kind of finalize that group that's going to compete at the regional and national championships. So a lot of just kind of management at this point for the coaching staff, which is really kind of a nice luxury to have.
Not many teams get that.
Yeah.
Let's go to men's golf. They just wrapped up the fall portion of the schedule with the Naperville Collegiate Invite. Third place finish. Pretty good wrap up to the fall.
Yeah, the improvement was kind of slow and steady throughout the fall, which you would want to have, and they're going to have some off-season time. They're going to build some different things into the routine so that they can do some skill development and things like that during when they're not on the course over the course of the winter. So hopefully by the time the spring comes up, which is the championship season for the men, they'll be able to carry that over into that half of the season. But Hiromitsu Washizu is an international student from Japan. He's been the top golfer the whole season. He went 2 under par in one of the invitationals as a sophomore, and really a really consistent golfer. A guy that is good to kind of have as that anchor for the number one. And the other positions have kind of shifted around in that scoring group of golfers, but he seems to always be at the top. So it's definitely an impressive fall season for him.
Let's go to the women's team, and you mentioned the championship season. It's here for the women's squad.
Correct. It's the first of the CCIW championships for the academic year. They're going to be over in West Chicago. And of course, they played on it a few weeks ago. They weren't able to finish the round because of darkness, but Coach Sellers felt like they had a chance to see enough of the course. They played a couple of practice rounds on it, including one this past weekend. So they feel like they know what they're going to be up against, and their level of play has been, consistent with some of the better teams that we've had heading into that championship. So you'll have to wait and see how that bears out. There's a lot of rain in the forecast, so we don't know how much they're actually going to be able to play. It's supposed to be a 3-day event, but they're feeling pretty good about where they're at.
Let's go to women's volleyball. No rain, but they have actually had almost, in a sense, a rain out, which is kind of strange. But they just got a big win under their belt.
Yeah, Friday they went over to Wheaton and scored a 3-1 victory. It was their first conference victory in a little over a year, so they're glad to kind of have the monkey off their back there. And really, they kind of had a tough start to the conference schedule. Probably the 2 top teams in the preseason coaches poll were the one among the first 3 that they played. So they're a little behind the 8 ball, but they feel like the rest of the teams on their schedule they should be pretty competitive with. They've seen them at tournaments playing other schools, and feel like that those should be matches that we should be in and contending to win.
Now let's wrap up with your quick hit, and we gave you the opportunity to choose between the 3 that we asked the players. So what city that you've never been to would you like to go to?
Well, I've always felt fortunate doing the job that I do, that I get to travel around the country and do different things. But you know, my brother has got me beat because through his job, he travels all over the world. He's actually living overseas right now, but he said Ireland is actually probably his favorite place that he's ever been to. He said the people are amazing.
Yeah.
Said it's beautiful. There's all kinds of things to do. So if I had a chance to go anywhere, I'd probably want to go to Ireland.
Dublin.
Yeah, definitely. I know our team had a chance to go there a couple of years ago, and they had a similar experience. They were really impressed with it.
Well, next time you got to go with them.
Yeah, I'll stuck myself in the cargo or something.
There you go. Clark, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap. The Cardinal football team hosts the Vikings from North Park on Saturday. That game kicks off at 1, and we'll have it right here on NCTV 17. Until next week, I'm Kevin Jackman, and this has been The Red Zone.